I'm changing that question just a little bit. Give me 1 second.
Sure. And then while we're waiting, then while Brian cleans up some of the questions. Shoot, I just lost my train of thought.
Oh, I did have a question. So where would this be live at? Will it be like iTunes or like YouTube or what?
iTunes, SoundCloud. I'll give you all the links when the episode's about to go up, and like something you can post to let the Airfordable viewers and your own audience know that you're going to be on this podcast and to watch out for you. So
yeah,
don't worry about all that stuff. We'll send all that information to you.
Okay. And I kind of have a hard stop at like 2:15. So.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
So are we good to get started?
We're good. Yep.
All right. So good afternoon, everyone. This is Roots in Tech Podcast with Dina and Brighton, and we have a wonderful guest today. You've probably seen her in Essence Magazine. She's also been featured on TechCrunch. We have Ama Marfo, and she is the founder of Airfordable. So hi, Ama, how are you today?
I'm doing good. I'm pretty good. Just freezing in Chicago. But other than that, I'm good.
That is so true.
Well, I'm out here in LA. This is Brighton, and it's actually very warm. Sorry, Chicago. But Ama, it's awesome to have you on the show tonight. We are just so excited to talk to you, just to talk to, a Black woman in tech. And I would love to know your journey in tech and how that began.
Yeah, sure. So my journey in tech, I don't even know how far back to go, but I think in the days of dial-up internet, I was so intrigued when my dad, brought a computer home and he hooked it up to the internet, and I was just like mind blown, like, oh, there's so much information on the internet. So that was my first interaction with technology and the internet, and then from there, my passion for it grew when the iPhone launched and mobile apps became like a huge thing. When I first got the iPhone, I got so many apps on my phone that I didn't even need, but I was just so intrigued at how, the technology was used to basically streamline your web experience into a very simple mobile app. And it was there that I was really intrigued by that. And this was when I was in college. And so I went to school at Drexel University in Philly. And at the time I was studying business, specifically finance and accounting. I really love math, so that's where I decided to, focus my education on. And then once the iPhone launched and this whole app thing, the App Store was a big thing, I was just trying to figure out, how can I intersect myself into technology without having like a, programmer background or computer science background. And it was there that, I got introduced to the whole consulting world, where, I can, visit and work with different corporate companies and basically help them manage, their technology projects. So from there, I decided to pursue a career in that, where I'd be able to intersect in technology, but not necessarily be the one coding. And at the consulting firm, I was mostly like a project manager, and I managed different software projects. After consulting, I landed a job at Discover, and I did the same thing as well. So that's how, my love for technology has been since the beginning. And after Discover, I felt the need to build something on my own, and that's where Airfordable came from.
Great, thank you. And so did the math intersect with the product management? How did that work?
Yeah, good question. So I think, for project management, so most of the projects that I worked on were more in the financial services. So that's where my knowledge for accounting and math and business kind of combined with my love for technology. So I was working on a lot of like financial technology projects or softwares where I had that business background to understand, okay, this is what an accounting software is supposed to do, and basically help manage that process from project management perspective.
Cool, got it. And what does it mean to you that you are one of, the few, hopefully becoming like not always the few, but right now you represent, the few Black women in tech. What does that mean to you?
I think for me that means a lot to me because I feel like being in the space as one of the few Black women, it kind of makes me in a position to pave the way for others. I have a different background in how I got into technology and what I've been through and where I've been right now. I think my perspective on that, can influence other Black female founders to even want to start their own companies. And I think it's hard for sure, like you said. It's very few of us in this space, but I haven't used that as a way to hinder me from progressing in what I'm looking to achieve for Air Affordable. So I think as a Black woman in tech, I think I'm pretty much one of the few who are paving the way for others.
And how do you help pave the way? Do you do mentorship? Are you helping? I think that you have like a prior relationship with Dina or other host in terms of helping her get into Discover as well. Like, how do you see yourself paving the way?
Yeah, So I do mentor a few girls, Black girls in tech. It's not like an official organization or anything, but just people that who've reached out to me and constantly seek advice and help from me. So that's how I tend to give back. I do want to do much more. Definitely want to do much more, like join an organization, whether it's Black Girls Code or one of those organizations where I can help that way.
Great. And what are some tips that you have for people of color or women in tech?
So are you asking from
some tips in terms of maybe getting involved in the tech world or advancing the tech world, if they're seeking mentorship, or if they're seeking skills about how to market themselves?
Yeah, I think the advice I would give there is basically network with people who've been there or are in the same stage of you trying to figure this all out. I think for me, that's what I did. Like I said in the beginning, I had a business and that like accounting background. I had no idea what this tech world was, but what I did was, research, subscribe to different newsletters like TechCrunch or what have you, and just keep myself informed on the latest, technology trends or the people that are coming out of technology that have done this or are good at it, and basically follow them. And also network like at events with people who this is what they do for a living, right? And just learn from them constantly, reach out with questions as, you're trying to figure it out. So all you really need is the knowledge and the people who've been there to basically help you get there.
Great, and you really did a great job explaining about how you wanted to combine your interest and your strengths and be involved in the tech industry, and that led you to product management through consultant work in the beginning. How did that work in the very, very beginning when you were fresh, new, maybe didn't know the field as well as you do now? What was your very first introduction into tech?
From a career perspective?
From a career, yes, yeah.
So it was when I got a job at a consultant firm right out of college. So they had like a 3-month training program. Like most consulting companies have like a 6-week or a 12-week training program where they basically teach you the basics of consulting and technology. And it was that was where I was exposed to this whole product management and technology space. So that's what helped me. They had like training programs that helped me. And then also I read different things on my own, and then networked with other people.
Great. Thank you so much.
So Ama, we've kind of talked about your past experience. I know you've worked for several companies and we've worked together at Discover, but yep. I wanted to know from your perspective, what made you start Air Affordable? What made you start your own company?
Yeah, so when I was in college at Drexel in Philly, I wanted to travel home to Ghana. That's where I'm originally from, Ghana. And when it came time for like the school breaks, like Thanksgiving, Christmas, I couldn't afford to travel back home. Like tickets were like $1,500, $2,000. That was just a lot of money for a college student, period. So because of this, I had to stay in the dorms alone every single break, and that was horrible. It was terrible. So once I graduated, I knew that this was an idea that I wanted to, see if it had some legs. So it was so with that, terrible experience that I had in college, that personal frustration and not being able to travel home because flights were expensive, I just set out to try to figure out how to make it affordable. I was familiar with like the layaway concept in retail, and just didn't understand why there was layaway for like clothes, furniture, electronics, and there was nothing like that for flights because not everyone has access to credit. And even if they do, they don't have an extensive line of credit, to just ball out on it, right?
Right.
So, so it was with that hypothesis that I was like, let me just see if this thing has legs. So I put up a landing page, Air Affordable, bought the URL, put a landing page up, and then just left it there and try to figure out if someone will actually discover this. Some people just discover it. And then I engaged on Twitter in some of these tweet chats with like some of these airlines or like Expedia and them will have tweet chats like on a weekly basis. And I would engage in those conversations. And then people started to see like the URL, the website, and go there and then sign up. So that's how we started out. Then we started getting our initial customers from there. And then since then, like we launched last December, 2015, not last December, but 2015 December. And since then, we have over 100,000 users so far. We've done over 3 million sales.
Okay, so I know you kind of mentioned that some people haven't heard of your product, but as you know, I always do when we're together. Let me just give a small pitch. So Air Affordable is the layaway for airline tickets. And so I guess let's describe Air Affordable in more details in terms of what's your demographic and what struggles have you had and what you've even accomplished, which we know is a lot, but just give us some details of your journey.
Yeah, so Air Affordable, as you said, is layaway for flights. And if people don't know what layaway is, I can break that down because there are some people who don't know what that means.
Go ahead and break it down.
So we allow anyone to book a flight for a deposit up front and the rest in installments before they actually leave. So how it works right now, we kind of hacked around the airlines right now, but how it works right now is you find the flight you want from like an airline site or like Expedia, Orbitz, and you take a screenshot of that and you come to Air Affordable and you upload that screenshot. After that, we show you the payment plan where you pay a deposit down today and the rest on a scheduled biweekly schedule. We automatically deduct that payment on each schedule date. And after your last payment has been made, we send you your ticket information. So you have to be paid off in full before you travel.
Right. And I mean, that makes sense. You can't just have everyone going and traveling on their trips and not having a full paid ticket, right?
Yeah. So if that was the case, we will be considered like a credit card company, and they have like there are a ton of credit cards, right? So you can just use that, right? But we make you pay off before you leave, and this kind of helps with your budget because essentially it's like an automated budget where we're automatically deducting a small portion from your bank account that's going towards this trip that you always wanted to go to.
Right. So with that being said, because you kind of touched on if you did it another way, you'd be more like a credit card company as opposed to the layaway offer.
Yeah. So
with being layaway, have you seen a lot of struggles by making your business that type of company?
Struggles. I don't know.
Okay.
As far as like from a consumer perspective?
Yes.
No. So that actually people are kind of like straying away from using their credit card. So what we're building is actually something people want right now. Okay. The customers that we're targeting, they either don't have a credit card or they do have a credit card, but they would rather not use that credit card for a flight that isn't until months, weeks away. They'll rather use that for like an emergency situation between now and when they travel.
Right.
So what we're building really it's something that people have always wanted, really.
Hold up, you guys. I don't want the phone ringing to be in the background.
Okay. Oh yeah, so while we have like a small break to bring in the Y Combinator,
Hmm.
that was this past summer. Would you consider that an accomplishment for Air Affordable to be in?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I know how to segue, but
Okay, I'm back.
all right, let's clip and start from what have been the struggles. And let's start with kind of like how Ama, you were describing people don't want to use credit cards. They
Yeah.
want to, okay.
Or what actually, I'm also kind of wondering, like, what happens if people can't make the payment? Should we talk about that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do that as well.
Okay.
Okay, so I just talk about that.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So when people aren't able to finish their payment plan, they can't make a payment due to like situations that happened in their life. The deposit that they pay is non-refundable, but anything else that they've paid after that becomes a credit they can use on our website towards a new booking with us. So that's how that works.
Okay. Well, at least they don't lose the money.
Yeah, so they don't lose everything. They get something back in the credit.
And then also when you say, so you have to put down a deposit, is there a certain percentage that is the deposit, a percentage of the amount of the ticket, or how do you kind of figure that?
Yeah, so it depends on the cost of the ticket, the dates of travel, and demand at that time. Many different factors, but we do collect like a percentage. It can be between 30 to 40% of the ticket upfront.
Okay. So we've kind of touched on your struggles, but let's take some time to talk about what you've accomplished so far. So some success points for Air Affordable.
Yeah. So as I was saying earlier on, so as of today, we have over 100,000 users right now, and last year, haven't launched for a full year, we did about 3 million in sales. So I think that's one of our major accomplishments. Just showing that this works and we're building something that people really want. The next thing that that's a major accomplishment for us is getting into Y Combinator. So if people don't know what Y Combinator is, it's one of the most prestigious startup accelerators in the whole world. And what I mean by startup accelerator is it's a program that lasts for about 3 months. And basically the goal there is to accelerate your business within 3 months. So meaning you're growing, you're showing growth within the 3 months. So growth in users, growth in revenue. And then plus they have one of the largest and most influential network too. So if you go through Y Combinator and you talk to anyone in the tech space or in Silicon Valley, wherever, and you say you're in Y Combinator, you kind of have some type of stamp of approval. That kind of goes a long way when you're trying to either raise money or close a deal with some of these corporate companies.
Okay, so also with the Y Combinator, so I'm assuming you would recommend this for other startups or I guess small businesses to actually get involved in.
Yes, I definitely would recommend Y Combinator. It's the best out of all of them that are out there. And it's very helpful for companies that are in their early stages, although they do accept different kinds of startups and stages. Like for my batch, there were companies that didn't even have they only had an idea, and there were companies that had made like 40 million in revenue. Like so, there's different kinds of startups and different kinds of industries. But if you're starting out and you've shown like a proof of concept, you have a small percentage of people using your product, and you're trying to get it to the next level, you should definitely check out Y Combinator.
Okay, awesome. And then I guess one more question I have about the Y Combinator then is, since they're affiliating with different sizes of companies, and when I say different sizes, I mean the size of their consumers, the size of what they're bringing in regards to revenue, then it seems like they teach you a lot of skills that you would need any point of your business, and that could be anywhere from how to market your product to how to get the sale. Am I wrong?
Yeah. So what they taught us is really to show growth, like grow your business, which is get more customers, get more revenue. That was really the main focus of the program, for you to basically self-accelerate yourself as a company and not necessarily have to rely on external parties, whether it's a major big business deal or an investor, right? So
Right.
in 3 months, they're constantly pounding in your heads to grow your business within the 3 months. And then at the end, there's a demo day where they put you in front of a room full of investors, top investors, and you pitch your company to them in hopes to raise money. But that really isn't the end goal of the program, not to raise money, but it's more so for you to help you accelerate your company by showing growth and growing your users and revenue.
Okay. Awesome.
So that was 3 months long, the Y Combinator? It was an accelerator that was 3 months?
Yeah, last summer, yes.
Last summer. Cool. And then what did you have to show? I'm like interested in the nitty-gritty, I guess, of like what did you have to show from your MVP, your minimum viable product? You said you had like a landing page. What did you have to show Y Combinator in order to get into one?
Yeah, so by the time we applied to Y Combinator, we definitely had like a functioning product, so people were actually using Air Affordable, but it wasn't as many people as we have now. So for them, I think what they typically want to see is you having a functioning product where people are using it and you're learning as fast as possible to improve on how your customers are using your product. One of the big things that, the feedback we got after we got in, I, asked one of the person who interviewed us, and I asked him, well, why did you guys accept us? Like, what was it about us? And he said he was really fascinated by the fact that we've done so much in a short period of time. We've shown growth in a short period of time, meaning that, there are people dying to use our product, even though it's not well polished. People are still breaking through to try and use your product, without it being like a full-fledged service. It was just an MVP, and he was really impressed with that.
And did you front the money first, or did you find an investor? How was that, getting your first investor? And then did the Y Combinator really help you to get a lot more, go through the rounds and get investment?
Yeah, so before Y Combinator, we were bootstrapping. So me and my co-founder, we put some money into the company and just used that for about 4 months, and then we applied to Y Combinator, and they invested into the company as well. And then after YC, we raised some more money from investors that were at the demo day.
Cool. So it sounds like there was a lot of hustling when it comes to the startup world. What keeps you motivated throughout all of your journey with Air Affordable?
Yeah, so what has kept me motivated, and I think for the rest of my team, is that we are the lives that we're changing with Air Affordable. So we have so many different kinds of people who are using Air Affordable. We have, young people like us. We have families, young families. We have couples, using Air Affordable. And, every single day, I get a story in my inbox of a customer who used Air Affordable to get to somewhere they couldn't have gotten to without Air Affordable. Like, for example, this morning, I was talking to a customer this morning, and she was saying she was so thankful for Air Affordable because she was using Air Affordable to get back home to see her mom she hadn't seen for like 20 years. And she was just constantly saying how grateful she was for us because she wouldn't have been able to see her. She hasn't been able to see her for 20 years just because the flights have always been expensive and out of her budget, or she couldn't figure out a way to budget for it. So it's like these kinds of stories that keeps us motivated. And I never thought that Air Affordable would have this big impact, to be honest. We were really just solving a pain point that I had and didn't even know there were like thousands and thousands of people who are experiencing the same thing. So I would say like these stories that I get every day is what keeps us motivated to, constantly and continually build a product that they want.
Yeah, part of Roots in Tech is about the diaspora and connecting across the diaspora. And I love your story of wanting to go home where you're from, Ghana, or you visit your family in Ghana and you were not able to in college. Um, which sounds sad. You're like in your dorm room and everybody's out for the holidays and you're unable to go home. But this is, your pain point really has become almost like a blessing or solution to many others.
Yeah.
Do you see a lot of other college students using Airfordable now to connect home and especially to connect across the diaspora?
Yeah. So yes, so we definitely see like a high percentage of our user base are college students, and these are people like immigrants who are looking to go back home, or international students who are looking to go back home, use our product. Then we've also seen like a good percentage of these students use us for study abroad programs. So they wouldn't have considered a study abroad program if it wasn't for Airfordable, because that's one of the main things. If you get into that program, how the hell are you going to get there, get to this country, right? So so they've been using us for study abroad programs too.
I love it. Yeah, my study abroad the only one I was able to do and afford, and after saving up lots of money, was I went to Senegal, which was my first trip ever to the motherland, and it was so awesome. But that plane ticket was crazy. I mean, I really had to go out and ask friends and family for money and, do that whole thing. So Airfordable just seems like, oh, that would have been such a relief, that I would have had more time and ability to visit or to go abroad and to expand myself.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So what are some other lessons, some ups and downs that you have for other entrepreneurs, or what have you learned in entrepreneurship? Would you do it all over again?
Yes, I would do it all over again. Yes. I don't think I would ever want to work for corporate anymore. I don't think so. I think about this every time. And I'm happy that I made a decision to start this company and work on it full time. I think one of the lessons, I think with the stages of starting a startup, there are always challenges at each stage. So in the beginning, it was just me trying to figure this thing out. So I had to find the struggle that I was having was finding a technical co-founder. That's just very hard to find somebody, but I was able to find a very, very amazing technical co-founder. He's like the best ever, but the struggle of finding him, it was just really hard. So that was some of the struggles at that time of the business. But right now, some of the struggles right now that we're experiencing right now is a lot of people are hearing about Airfordable, and we're getting so much demand that we cannot keep up with. And that's a good problem to have.
Right.
It's still a problem. It's still a problem, and it's just very hard for us to, get the deals that we want to be able to solve this problem, and it takes time, So with these struggles, I've learned that you have to be resilient. Like there's always going to be naysayers. It's going to be a hard journey. So you have to be resilient to keep pushing on, and especially knowing why you're doing this. And for us, really, like I said before, like we're doing this because of the impact it's having on people. They're able to reunite with their families and things like that. So just remembering why you're doing this is what would make you, or continue to make you, resilient to push through, because it's going to be hard. They're going to be naysayers. They're going to be people who think this is a bad idea. Why the hell are people using this? This is not going to be a great business. But you are the only one who knows why you're doing this, and that should be something that pushes you to, break through or push through. Another lesson I learned is this was during the fundraising period, was you hear a lot of no's, especially with Airfordable. The use case, some people in Silicon Valley don't understand the use case we're solving, and that's okay. But you hear this no, you hear no's, so many no's, but that doesn't mean that's the final no. Like if they don't get it, if they don't get what you're building, or don't see the value, or see the scaling, or what have you, that's fine. there will be someone who gets this, and just keep going. Like, you find that person. And we're able to do that. I had so many no's, but I was able to get yeses, right? And we're still here, so just remember that a no that you get is not a final no. It could be no for right now, but maybe in the next few months when you've worked on your business and made so much progress, and you go back to this investor, he might invest in you, and that no could turn into a yes.
So question, when you say you got a lot of no's, was it, I'm assuming, did you have to eventually build that thick skin to understand, like, just because somebody doesn't understand this use case doesn't mean that they are the one and only person that doesn't understand? Or is that something the mindset you had going into this is it's going to be a struggle and we're going to have to show our stories? So you kind of go in with that armor on, and then I'm going to get a yes eventually. I don't care about the no's.
Yeah. So initially, before YC, I thought it would be easy, to be honest. So you read on TechCrunch, hey, so and so raised this amount. Oh, this company got acquired. You think it's so easy after reading that, but it's not easy. But I thought it was easy. So before YC, I would go out, try to network and meet with investors, and I got the no's. And I'll ask them why no. I will always ask that question because I don't take no for an answer. I want to know why you said that so I can go back, work on whatever it is, and come back to you. And a lot of them said we were too early, which was true. We were early. We only had did about $5,000 in revenue. That's pretty early, and that made sense. So that was what it was before YC. And then once we got into YC and YC drilled into us, like, you have to grow your users. I mean, that's really the holy grail. Like, you have to show that this is working and you have revenue and things like that. So that's what we focused on the whole 3 months while we're in YC, basically showing that this is working, testing things, improving things. And then once we're done YC and had the demo day and spoke to investors, we had all this data and showed that this thing was working. And people are, using this MVP type product to book their trips. Like, we had something, we showed them something. We had data to show it. We had the revenue, and that kind of helped us because they could see that, we've shown a lot of progress in a short period of time.
Right. And I just want to know, because I think it's a good point that a lot of people don't say. I love that you said that even though someone told you no, you asked them why, because the why is always important, because that's where you're going to get the lesson. Obviously, you get a lesson from no, but if you don't understand why they said no, how are you going to improve yourself?
Yeah.
How are you going to improve your business if you don't know why people are saying no? So I think that's a great point to note.
Yeah, and I think some people just probably have an ego problem and don't want to ask why, because they don't want to crush their ego. But I think it's really important for you to know why. Like, no harm. Some people might give you a bullshit answer, and you can read through that bullshit. But some people will, if they really care, they generally will give you like the feedback that you need to go work on and improve and come back later.
So would you say that being an entrepreneur has helped you become vulnerable, but yet, gain strength in a lot of new ways as well? Sounds like you have a vulnerability in one way. You're able to hear no, you're able to take a lot of criticism, but then again, you have to have the thick skin that Dina was talking about and build strength in the way that you keep going past the no's or, past the struggles that inevitably come with entrepreneurship.
Yeah. So, I'm sorry, I missed the first part of the question.
Would you say that it's that the entrepreneurial journey has really developed you personally in a lot of ways, where you developed a sense of vulnerability, but also a sense of new strengths?
Yes, it definitely has had that effect on me. I mean, this is my first rodeo at this. There's so much I did not know. I had to learn as I went. I'm very grateful for having a technical co-founder who's been through this journey before. This is his third startup, so he has experience, having been through this like 2-3 times already. And so I'm able to lean on him to, learn some of these things. It definitely has taught me a lot about myself personally. I didn't know I was capable of standing in front of people, a room full of investors, and pitching Air Affordable and be able to raise money. I didn't know I was able to do that until I did it. And building a team, I didn't know I could be able to do that as well. So yeah, it definitely has helped me and made me see much more about myself that I otherwise wouldn't have if I worked at corporate.
Oh, that's a good way to say it. When you navigate the entrepreneurial space, does it change your perspective of the tech industry, and especially as a woman working as an entrepreneur in tech versus in the corporate scene, like you just mentioned?
Yeah, so when I was working in corporate, I was mostly working on like older technologies. Like it was just projects trying to make it even much harder to navigate through the product. Like some of the technologies that we're using was so old. So the opportunity to be creative around that was very hard. Like I was very limited in thinking creatively around that. But once I started Air Affordable and I kept, being informed by the newer technologies, just reading up on new things, it kind of opened my eyes like, I can really be creative with these new technologies. I probably wouldn't have thought to do that if I was working at, Discover. No shade on Discover, but if I was working at Discover or something, I probably wouldn't have been exposed to that and even think of using some of these newer technologies to improve some of the processes that they have at Discover or any other corporate company. And I think working at Affordable, I have that opportunity to do that. I'm not restricted or anything.
And when you say new technologies, what are you talking about?
Talking about so whether it's like AI or different APIs or just having access or know of different technologies that could help improve your product right now. So one of the things that we're looking at Affordable right now is there's been an influx of a lot of AI technologies, and that's something like we're thinking like, it'll be cool to include this into Air Affordable, where I guess people can text, where they want to go, and then we just automatically populate a flight payment plan for them, like things like that. I would say if I was at another corporate company and I knew about AI, they probably would not even want to use it because they have all these projects that they outline a year in advance. So even if you come up with a new idea, it probably wouldn't be implemented right away.
Right.
So.
Yeah, thank you.
So now that we've talked to you about all that you've accomplished at Air Affordable and as a woman in tech, what are your next steps for Air Affordable?
Yeah, so for Affordable, I think this year our focus is to build a product that our customers love. We've passed the point where we're trying to prove that people want this. We know people want this, obviously. So this year is just a matter of us building or revamping our current booking process, our current website, things like that. So as I said before, how Air Affordable works, you have to take a screenshot, you have to do all this. It seems like a lot of friction there. And so we want to streamline that whole process. And that means bringing search on Air Affordable, where you actually search for a flight on Air Affordable and pay in installments on Air Affordable as well. We're also looking to build go mobile and mobile strong. We have about 80% of our customers come in through a mobile device, and use Air Affordable on a mobile device. So we're building a mobile app to streamline that experience. So these are the two major projects that we're doing this year, and just constantly listening to our customers to see what they want and just incorporating that into Air Affordable.
And so do you see the Air Affordable next steps as the same goals as for yourself, or do you have other goals that you see for your next steps for you?
For me, I do want to, the phase that we are in Air Affordable right now, it's a lot of like hands-on work. So it's very hard for me to have free time to go and like network with people. So one of my goals this year is to do some more to do more networking and meeting new people and just putting myself out there to meet new people and network and do things like this podcast and panels and things like that. I think I would love to do that. It's just hard right now because there's so much we have to do for affordable, like hands-on work. But I definitely do, want to meet more people and network.
That's understandable, and I definitely can see you taking over the speaking circuit after we've had you on our podcast.
Definitely.
So tell everyone where they can find you and Air Affordable online, social media, all the good information.
Yeah, so you can find Air Affordable at airaffordable.com, www.airaffordable.com. We're on Twitter at Fly Air Affordable. We're on Facebook as Air Affordable. And we're on Instagram at Air Affordable as well. And if you have a trip in mind, definitely check us out.
Sounds good. Any parting words, ideas, anything you want our listeners to know before you sign off?
If you are thinking about starting a company or building a product, do not hesitate on that. I think now is the best time to start working on that. And you just have to take just little baby steps. I'm not saying quit your job now and start this company, but you can put a landing page up and see if people use it. You can talk to potential customers, see what they want, and figure out how you can build the smallest part of your product and put out there for people to use. I'm going to live an example of doing that. I didn't start out quitting my job and doing Air Affordable. I started with baby steps, with a landing page, with talking to customers, with building a simple part of the product and putting it out there for people to use and seeing if people actually do want this. So if you are sitting if you're sitting on an idea, I would say you should start working on it and putting it out there and see if people will use it.
I think that's a great tip, and I hope everyone's listening anyone who's sitting on an idea, hopefully this will inspire you to get going on some of those ideas, and we'll be able to have you on the podcast soon.
Cool.
Yes. Thank you so much, Ama. We appreciate you.
Yes.
Thank you for having me. I think this is my very first podcast or interview.
Oh, look at that.
This is a good start for me.
Perfect.
Did you feel comfortable? Was it awkward at all or anything?
No. I think it was good. You guys asked the right questions.
Okay.
It was good.
You're very well spoken, and you say everything in such a clear way. You answered all your questions so clearly that I think people can easily be inspired and kind of understand your process and see how that can relate to their own lives. So I thought that was really good.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. That's very good feedback from me. Because, like I said, this is my first one, so I wasn't sure if this is something I would want to do in general. But just from doing this today, I kind of enjoy it. So I should be doing more of these.
Yeah.
Good. I'm glad that we inspire you too.
Dina.
I'm just saying. Amma knows I'm crazy. She didn't just meet me.
I love it. Well, that means that maybe you might be interested in a future podcast with us. Maybe we'll do a round table one day. We're not sure when, but maybe halfway through the year or so. That'll
be good. That'll be good. It's also good to hear other people's perspective on their journey too, because everyone has a different journey in this entrepreneurial world. So that'll be cool.
Cool. All right. Thank you.
No problem. When is this going live?
I'll email it to you or text you for sure.
Okay. Is it anytime soon or like in the next few weeks?
Probably in a few weeks.
Right.
Well, actually, it's almost already February, so sometime.
I know. the weekend. I think it's the Thursday after
Valentine's.
Valentine's Day. Yeah, I think, but we'll let you know. Yeah, Dina will let you know the exact date, but it should be probably around that Thursday after.
Okay, and you guys are going to edit some of it, or
Oh,
is it
yeah.
just raw, like,
Editing.
Yeah. Yeah, if it will make you like more comfortable once we edit, we could let you listen to it before if that's like makes you more comfortable.
okay.
Well, it's not like we don't talk. So.
Yes.
Oh gosh. Oh yeah, I forgot you had a hard stop. So thank you for doing this. I know it's after 2, so
Yeah, it's cool. Thank you so much for having me.
of course.
Yeah, have a good rest of the day.
You too. All right.
Bye.
Bye.
I'm gonna call you, Dina.
Okay, wait, do I stop broadcast?
Yeah, stop the broadcast. Yeah.
I'm like nervous to hit stop and something go wrong.
I know, right? You're like, right, just disappeared.
All right, call me on Google Hangout.
Okay, cool.
All right, bye.
Bye.